Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX with me, Devika Devan. The NEET paper leak has shaken the faith of millions of students and parents. While protests and politics will continue, the real priority must be fixing the flaws in our examination system and ensuring accountability. NewsX is therefore launching a nationwide mission bringing together educationists, technologists, policymakers, and stakeholders to find lasting solutions and build a stronger, more transparent exam system. At the top of 9 o'clock, viewers, I don't have with me politicians or spokespersons of political parties or anybody who you would see regularly on news channels at this hour. I have instead with me students at the top of 9 o'clock because they are the most important voices, they are the most important stakeholders, and that's something we should not and will not forget. And therefore, this next half an hour is dedicated to all the students that are joining us with their stories, with their perspective, and with their appeal to the current system, to the government. What is it that the students want? We open up the floor for this very genuine conversation. I'm going to begin with, I've been told I have with me Bhavya Gunwal. I think all the students have in fact joined me. So let me take a moment to introduce everyone. We have with us Dushyant Dubey, who's a NEET aspirant. Tanvi Singh is a NEET aspirant who was affected by the score mismatch issue. Shivani was also affected severely by the re-NEET as well as the score mismatch issue. Bhavya Gunwal, she is a NEET rank AIR 71, and Nidhi Yadav, who is AIR 145 in the NEET. Let me begin with Bhavya if I can. Bhavya Gunwal, if you can hear me. Bhavya, you've taken the re-examination, you've scored extremely well. But what was your state of mind in those few days where you were preparing once again to sit for the exam?
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. So after the original exam was cancelled, I was completely heartbroken and I had no will to prepare for the re-exam. So it was a major setback, and I can say I would have performed better had there not been a re-exam. Like right now, I got AIR 71, but maybe without the stress of the re-exam, I could have performed better. So there's definitely a setback there.
Okay, so Bhavya, how did you then prepare yourself mentally? Of course, like I said, that there was an impact on all the lakhs of students who along with you had to prepare for that re-examination. So what is it that motivated you at that point in time?
Honestly, it was just the fact that I had no other choice, because it's really difficult to like let go of something and then catch it again because you have no choice.
Bhavya, what if anybody in the government could hear you right now, if you could perhaps assume that you're speaking to someone who can bring a change, what would your request be to them right now in this moment?
I would like anybody of power in the government to take accountability and responsibility for the actions, not necessarily theirs, but for whoever's actions who have led to the leak and the effect it has had on millions of aspirants. They shouldn't stay silent on such important issues, and addressing them might actually help find better solutions.
Okay, Bhavya, I'm sure that ever since this leak has happened, amongst all the students as well and amongst the youth, there could have been a lot of discussions about what can be done better for say next year and the years to come. Is there anything that you would like to share with our audience in your perspective? What is it that can be done differently?
First of all, I think digitizing the exam for next year is an important step, which has already been taken. So that is a good point, because in JEE we don't see as many leaks as we do in NEET. So that's a good step. And besides, I think we should adopt from other countries like USA, where not just a single exam decides your admission into the top colleges. It's your holistic development, your extracurriculars and everything. And it's not just that if you uh, if it's not your good luck on that day, there are many more moments to prove what you got. So it's not purely chance. So I think we can adopt from that.
Okay, so digitization, as Bhavya pointed out, and perhaps multiple attempts or at least multiple papers through the course of the year, so that people can continue to work hard, to study hard, and perhaps perform better. Bhavya, stay on with me. I'll come back to you. Let me quickly rope in Nidhi Yadav as well. On that note, Nidhi, you are also one of the people who decided to sit for the re-examination. I want to also understand from you, when the whole paper leak happened, how did it impact your emotional and mental health at that time?
Yes, ma'am. I was so shocked when I received the news that NEET has been cancelled, and uh, I had to literally prepare myself from the very beginning that I'm going to give NEET again, and this is going all over again. So it was hard to imagine kind of that NEET has been cancelled, and I had to start from all over again.
तो निधि उन दिनों में, उन मोमेंट्स में, what is it that pushed you to actually sit down once again with your books and prepare for that re-examination? How did you come out of what you were feeling?
No other option, we just had to do it because we had already prepared for like 2-3 years, and we couldn't back off now, so we just had to do it all again.
एंड निधि, अगर गवर्नमेंट में या जो लोग इस मामले के बारे में एक्चुअली कोई डिसीजन ले सकते हैं, कोई स्टेप्स ले सकते हैं, अगर वो अभी आपको सुन सकते हैं, तो आप उनसे क्या कहना चाहेंगी?
I would request them to be more attentive to such national level exams because there are lakhs of people giving this kind of exams, and so many people are affected. There are so many kinds of setbacks to students, and they feel heartbroken, and I would request them to please take necessary actions and prevent these kind of leaks.
And Nidhi, if you could make a suggestion on what is it that can be done better so that we're not in the same situation next year or the year after that, what would that suggestion be?
I think that steps already taken, like conducting the CPT exams, that's a good choice. And I think strengthening security is the priority.
Absolutely.
Should be the priority.
Nidhi, thank you so much for being with me. Let me on that note also bring in Dushyant Dubey, who's a NEET aspirant. Dushyant, आपसे समझना चाहेंगे कि क्या आप re-examination के लिए बैठे थे? Dushyant, I'm going to request you to unmute yourself. Okay, we're not getting any audio there with Dushyant. We'll try to reconnect with him. Sohan also joins me on the broadcast, also a NEET aspirant. Sohan, same question to you. I want to understand from you, did you sit for the re-examination?
Good evening, everyone. Pardon, ma'am, can you repeat?
Sohan, did you sit for the re-examination that took place?
Yes, ma'am. I sat for the re-examination.
Okay, and how did that go for you?
Ma'am, honestly, it was earlier the paper was kind of easy. This time when the re-examination came, the paper was leveled up quite off. So I kind of panicked in the exam, but it still went good for me.
Okay, and Sohan, When the news came of the paper leak, how did you manage that stress? आपने उस वक्त क्या सोचा, क्या किया, parents का क्या support था, friends का क्या support था, that you actually decided to sit for the exam again?
Ma'am, when I heard the news, I was very shocked and devastated that the paper got leaked. I was scoring quite good marks, better than the reattempt marks. So I was going to get a very good college. When the news came, I was just, very disappointed. But I had already given 2 years to me, and my teachers and my parents supported me that you can do it. This time you will do much better. So that gave me confidence, and I was able to, sit down again, read the whole thing again.
And Sohan, did you clear it the second time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're not an aspirant
Right.
anymore. We'll make that correction. So Sohan gave the retest and he did clear it. So of course, congratulations to you as well on that. That you at least you made it through despite all the challenges that were thrown your way. Much like most of the other students as well. So Sohan, I just want to understand from you, if you could, however, speak to someone in government or someone in power who can make some useful decision at this point in time for students, what would you say to them? What's your appeal to the system?
Well, ma'am, we students give it our all for 2 years. We change our entire schedule, our routine, only to score that good marks, only to get the best college. So we can progress our nation, we can progress our family. So we give it our all for that. And if things like this happen on the one crucial exam that is supposed to decide it all, then it just breaks the heart of people, of the students. So I would like the government to focus their attention more on these exams. These are one of the most important things. Okay, the security on this exam should be the utmost, the top thing, because these aspirants are going to become the future doctors, and doctors are the power of the nation. If you don't have good healthcare, then the nation would not survive for that long. So I would request the government that they give the utmost security to these exams.
Okay, and Sohan, what is your message also to some of your peers and other youths of India who are currently protesting for a complete reform in the system? What is your message to them?
Just message to the youth.
Yes, a lot of your peers, a lot of young Indians are now protesting. They want the system to completely be reformed, to be rehauled. If you could give a message to them, what would that be?
Message. I know, ma'am. Actually, I'm
Okay.
not sure.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough, Sohan. Last question to you, Sohan. The government has announced some of the reforms already. There is talk of computer-based testing. If you could make a suggestion then on how to make this system better, what would your suggestion be?
Ma'am, digitalizing is very important because it removes the middleman of the system that can possibly lead to a leak. So digitalizing is very important. In the JEE exam, there's digitalizing, which also prevents the leak. So this is a big step for NEET. Moreover, there shouldn't be like a single attempt per year. There should be like multiple exams, to decide your overall curriculum. Like Bhavya said, NEET, only one NEET exam is held every year that every medical aspirant has to give. That kind of creates, a bottleneck that if anything were to happen that day, then you are screwed. You have to give it one more year. So I believe there should be multiple exams so that even if one test doesn't go your way, the other test can still allow you to pass.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Sohan, for that perspective. Dushyant Dubey also joins us on the broadcast. Dushyant, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
All right, Dushyant, thank you for joining us. I've been told that you're a NEET aspirant, but I want to understand from you, did you sit for the re-exam?
yeah. I sit for NEET exam.
And how did that go for you?
There's lot of pressure to maintain that फ्लो आफ्टर एग्जाम, बट हमने ये किया, हमने उस प्रेशर को दोबारा से अपने ऊपर लिया और फिर से एग्जाम में बैठे और एग्जाम को अच्छे से किया। लेकिन अब बात हो रही है कि गवर्नमेंट रिफॉर्म्स कर रही है, रिफॉर्म्स ला रही है, लेकिन मेन बात रिफॉर्म्स ही नहीं है। इंडिया में गवर्नमेंट एमबीबीएस सीट्स की कमी है। इस ईयर गवर्नमेंट 10,000 सीट्स इंक्रीज की है, जिसमें से सिर्फ 2,000 से कम सीटें ऐसी हैं जो गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज में सीट हैं, और प्राइवेट कॉलेज की फीस बहुत ही ज्यादा है, अप्रोक्स 18 लाख पर, ये जो कि 1 करोड़ के ऊपर जा रही है एक एमबीबीएस के लिए। तो हम चाहते हैं गवर्नमेंट से कि हर एक प्राइवेट मेडिकल कॉलेज में 50% सीट्स गवर्नमेंट फीस पे अलॉट हों। और इंडिया में टैलेंट की कमी नहीं है, इंडिया में शॉर्टेज है मेडिकल सीट्स की। तो इसके लिए गवर्नमेंट को ये रिफॉर्म लेना चाहिए, जैसा कि ड्यू के कॉलेज में 2 शिफ्ट में क्लासेस होती हैं, वैसे हर एक मेडिकल कॉलेज में 2 शिफ्ट में क्लास हो, मॉर्निंग एंड इवनिंग में। तो इससे हम लोग बहुत ही जल्दी इंडिया की जो मेडिकल सीट्स है उनको इंक्रीज कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि इंडिया में हमेशा से ही डॉक्टर की शॉर्टेज है, रही है और अभी भी है। अगर इस शॉर्टेज को कम करना तो हमें सीट्स इंक्रीज करनी पड़ेगी, और उन सीट्स इंक्रीज करने का एक आइडिया ये भी है कि हम 2 शिफ्ट में क्लासेस कंडक्ट करें, इससे डबल स्टूडेंट्स पहुंचेंगे और स्टूडेंट की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होगी।
ओके, काफ़ी अच्छा सुझाव है वहाँ पे आपका दुष्यंत। जैसा कि आपने कहा कि क्योंकि एस्पिरेंट्स इतने ज़्यादा हैं और सीट्स इतनी कम हैं, तो एक प्रेशर बना रहता है। दुष्यंत, आपको लगता है कि सीट्स बढ़ेंगी, डबल क्लासेस होंगी, उससे कहीं ना कहीं प्रेशर कम हो जाएगा स्टूडेंट्स पर? क्योंकि बहुत प्रेशर में आके स्टूडेंट्स वो एक एग्जामिनेशन लेते हैं, जैसा कि आपसे पहले भी लोगों ने कहा, क्योंकि वो साल में एक बार ही एग्जाम होता है, तो उसमें कुछ भी ऊपर नीचे हो जाए तो बस स्टूडेंट को ऐसा लगता है कि अब हमारी ज़िंदगी अब यहाँ ख़त्म हो जानी चाहिए। अनफॉर्चुनेटली कई बच्चों ने ये कदम उठाया क्योंकि वो इतने प्रेशर में थे, क्योंकि आप इतने साल दे देते हैं प्रेपरेशन को। तो दुष्यंत, वो प्रेशर हम बियॉन्ड जो आपने सजेशन दिया है, अगर स्टूडेंट्स को, क्योंकि अब आपने नीट का एग्जाम दे दिया है, आपने 2 बारी दिया है, आपने भी प्रेशर में दिया है, तो आपसे ये समझना चाहूंगी कि कहीं ना कहीं हम प्रेशर कम करने के लिए भी क्या कर सकते हैं?
तो वो रियल रीजन प्रेशर का यही है, क्योंकि बहुत ही लिमिटेड सीट्स हैं जिनके लिए कॉम्पिटिट कर रहे हैं स्टूडेंट, क्योंकि यहाँ पे बहुत सारे वो रिजर्वेशन लगे हुए हैं, स्टेट कोटा लगा हुआ है। अलग स्टेट में किसी अगर कोई स्टूडेंट दिल्ली और यूपी से कर रहा है तो उसे 560 पे गवर्नमेंट सीट्स नहीं मिल रही है, और कोई वही स्टूडेंट अगर किसी अदर स्टेट से है, ओडिशा से है, साउथ की किसी स्टेट से, तो उसे 450 नंबर मार्क्स पे भी गवर्नमेंट सीट मिल रही है। तो बहुत सारे रिजर्वेशंस की लगे हुए हैं, स्टेट वाइज लगे हुए हैं, कास्ट वाइज लगे हुए हैं। तो वो बहुत ही शॉर्ट लिमिटेड सीट्स हैं जिनके लिए कॉम्पीट कर रहे हैं। अबाउट 15,000 सीट्स ही हैं जिनके लिए नॉर्मल स्टूडेंट कॉम्पीट कर रहे हैं, और जो स्टूडेंट उन सीट्स के लिए कॉम्पीट कर रहे हैं उनके ऊपर बहुत ही हाई लेवल का प्रेशर होता है। तो उससे उन्हें पता है कि हम इस बार तो वहां तक पहुंच गए थे इस एग्जाम में, लेकिन अगली बार उस तक पहुंचने में बहुत डिफिकल्टी आएगी, क्योंकि अगर 2 से 3 क्वेश्चन भी हमारे गलत होते हैं तो हमारी रैंक एकदम से 10 से 20,000 कम हो जाती है। अगर वो 20,000 रैंक हमारी कम होती है तो हम उस रेस से आउट हो जाते हैं। तो मेन रीजन प्रेशर का यही है कि गवर्नमेंट सीट्स कम है और उन सीट्स का प्रॉपर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नहीं हो रहा है, अदर स्टेट्स में कम नंबर पे मिल रहा है, किसी स्टेट में हाई नंबर बन रहा है। तो स्टूडेंट प्रेशर मेन रीजन यही है कि नंबर ऑफ सीट्स कम है।
ओके दुष्यंत, एट द सेम टाइम जो अभी प्रोटेस्ट भी चल रहे हैं उसमें भी, जैसा कि मैंने कहा, हम पॉलिटिक्स को साइड में छोड़ते हैं। जो पॉलिटिक्स है उसके बारे में मैं आपसे चर्चा नहीं करना चाहूँगी, क्योंकि बहुत लोग हैं, जेन्युइन लोग हैं जो सड़कों पे आए हैं, जो रिफॉर्म मांग रहे हैं। आप उनको क्या मैसेज देना चाहेंगे आज?
मेरा मैसेज गवर्नमेंट को है कि आप स्टूडेंट से बात करिए। ये सेल्फ मेड जो स्टूडेंट लीडर बने हुए, इनसे बात मत करिए। इनको हमारी प्रॉब्लम पता ही नहीं है। ये लोग जो प्रॉब्लम राइज कर रहे हैं हमारी वो प्रॉब्लम है ही नहीं। ये लोग अपने पॉलिटिकल प्रोपेगेंडा के लिए जो बातें ला रहे हैं उनको साइड करके गवर्नमेंट को स्टूडेंट्स के रिफॉर्म्स लाने चाहिए, मीनिंगफुल रिफॉर्म्स लाने चाहिए, जिससे सीट्स इंक्रीज हो, स्टूडेंट का प्रेशर कम हो, साल में 2 बार एग्जाम कंडक्ट कराया जाए, 2 शिफ्ट में क्लासेस हो। ये रिफॉर्म्स लेने चाहिए, ना कि इन लोगों की बातों में बैठना चाहिए। ये लोग जो लोग पॉलिटिकल प्रोपेगेंडा ला रहे हैं, हमें उनसे कोई मतलब नहीं है। हमें जेन्युइन डिमांड्स रखनी है, हमें जेन्युइन मांग करनी है। हमें किसी पॉलिटिकल आइडियोलॉजी के अंदर चलते हुए नहीं करना है। हमें स्टूडेंट्स का अपना किसी भी पॉलिटिकल फ्लैग के अंदर आके हमें अपनी डिमांड्स नहीं रखनी है। हमें अपनी डिमांड गवर्नमेंट से सिर्फ स्टूडेंट्स को रखनी है। अगर हम लोग इनके साथ जाएंगे, ये हमारे प्रोटेस्ट को डाइवर्ट कर रहे हैं, दूसरी डायरेक्शन ले रहे हैं, इस वजह से गवर्नमेंट हमारी बात नहीं सुन रही है।
जी दुष्यंत, आप कह रहे हैं कि जो अभी प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं वो स्टूडेंट्स को एक्चुअली नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं। आप ऐसा क्यों सोच रहे हैं? क्योंकि वो तो कह रहे हैं कि हम नीट पेपर लीक के ऊपर ही प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं और हम स्टूडेंट्स के लिए जस्टिस चाहते हैं।
वो पेपर लीक पे प्रोटेस्ट तो कर रहे हैं, लेकिन उनकी डिमांड्स क्या है? सिर्फ उन 20 स्टूडेंट्स के ऊपर उनकी डिमांड रहेंगे जिन्होंने सुसाइड किया है। अगर आप सुसाइड का मेन रीजन के ऊपर बात करिए ना, आप सुसाइड अगली बार से ना हो, आप सिर्फ उन 20 स्टूडेंट्स को 1 करोड़ कंपनसेशन उनकी फैमिली को दे देंगे, तो उससे क्या सुसाइड अगली साल रुक जाएंगे? अगली साल सुसाइड्स ना हो, वो चीजें रोकी जाए, वो रिफॉर्म्स आए जिनसे आगे बात बढ़ सके। उसमें बहुत सारे पॉलिटिकल इशूज अपने लोग अपनी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज आ रही हैं, उनके इन्वॉल्वमेंट को कम करना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो लोग अपने फायदे के लिए बात कर रहे हैं। उनको पता ही नहीं है हमारी जेन्युइन डिमांड्स कौन क्या है। अभी तक किसी भी जो सो कॉल्ड स्टूडेंट्स लीडर बने बैठे, उन्होंने अभी तक हमारी डिमांड उठाई नहीं है। उन्होंने एक भी बार नहीं बोला है कि नीट का एग्जाम 2 शिफ्ट में होना चाहिए। उन्होंने एक भी बार नहीं बोला कि नंबर ऑफ सीट्स इंक्रीज होनी चाहिए, गवर्नमेंट सीट्स 50% सीट्स प्राइवेट कॉलेज में गवर्नमेंट नंबर पे मिलनी चाहिए, गवर्नमेंट फीस पे मिलनी चाहिए, और जो फीस बहुत हाई हो रखी है प्राइवेट कॉलेज, उसको कम करना चाहिए। वो लोग इस डिमांड के साथ आ ही नहीं रहे हैं। डिमांड तो रखी गवर्नमेंट के सामने, वो डिमांड रख ही नहीं रहे हैं।
दुष्यंत, आपसे बस ये भी समझना चाहूंगी कि 20 लाख से ऊपर नीट एस्पिरेंट थे इस साल, उसमें से आप भी थे, और ये प्रोटेस्ट अभी थोड़े टाइम पहले ही शुरू हुआ है, 1 महीना हो गया इस प्रोटेस्ट को। तो कहीं कोई एफर्ट बना है कि हम नीट के जो एस्पिरेंट्स हैं, नीट के जो इस साल बच्चे थे, हम उनसे कि कोई आपसे बात कर रहा है, कोई ऐसे ग्रुप्स बने हैं, कुछ भी ऐसी अटेम्प्ट हुई है कि जो एक्चुअल लोग हैं जिन्होंने वो प्रेशर सहा है, उनसे बात की जाए और उनसे समझा जाए कि एग्जैक्टली वो प्रेशर पॉइंट्स क्या हैं और गवर्नमेंट उनको कैसे एड्रेस कर सकती है? किसी ने आज अभी तक अटेम्प्ट करा है आपसे बात करना?
अभी तक ना ही गवर्नमेंट ने ट्राई किया है, ना ही ये सो कॉल्ड स्टूडेंट्स लीडर्स जो बैठे हैं, इन्होंने भी अभी तक कोई भी अप्रोच नहीं किया। इन्होंने किसी भी स्टूडेंट्स को वो स्टेज नहीं दी है जहां से वो अपनी डिमांड रख सके। उन्होंने वो स्टेज पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स को दी है, डिफरेंट आइडियोलॉजी के पीपल्स को दी है, वहां से वो अपनी आइडियोलॉजी बढ़ा रहे हैं। उन्होंने एक भी बार स्टूडेंट्स को वो स्टेज नहीं दी है जहां से वो अपनी डिमांड रख सके। मेरा मेन मतलब है, अगर आप स्टूडेंट्स के लिए प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं तो उस स्टेज पे राइट स्टूडेंट्स का है, ना कि उन पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स का है जो वहां पे जाके अपने चुनाव की प्रचार कर रहे हैं। मेरे डिमांड यही है कि आपका प्रोटेस्ट स्टूडेंट के लिए, तो उस स्टेज से स्टूडेंट्स को अपनी डिमांड रखनी चाहिए, ना कि पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स को अपनी पॉलिटिकल प्रोपेगेंडा फैलाने चाहिए।
एब्सोल्युटली दुष्यंत, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए। और आपने काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट डिमांड्स जो हैं वो एक स्टूडेंट के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से रखी हैं। तो होपफुली हमने आपकी डिमांड्स सुनी है, हमने अपने माध्यम से आपकी डिमांड्स, हम ये डिमांड्स को बाहर भी लाएंगे और दर्शकों तक पहुंचाएंगे, ताकि लोगों को समझ में आए कि एक्चुअली जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, जो वो हर साल प्रेशर ले रहे हैं, वो चाहते क्या हैं। जी, पॉलिटिक्स है, पॉलिटिक्स हो रही थी, पॉलिटिक्स होती रहेगी, बट उसके बियॉन्ड जो नीट के स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनकी बात भी तो कोई सुन लो कि वो एक्चुअली क्या चाहते हैं। थैंक यू सो मच दुष्यंत फॉर क्लैरिफाइंग अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, एट लीस्ट फॉर मी। लेट मी ऑन दैट नोट ब्रिंग इन तन्वी सिंह and Shivani into the conversation. Tanvi, I'll begin with you. आपसे समझना चाहूंगी तन्वी, I've been told that you're a NEET aspirant and you were affected by the score mismatch. क्या आप थोड़ा सा अपनी कुछ डिटेल्स हमें बता सकती हैं? आप री एग्जामिनेशन के लिए बैठे थे?
Yes, I did sit for the re-NEET examination.
You sat for the re-examination, but you had a score mismatch issue.
Yes, a big score mismatch issue. Actually, what happened was I gave the re-NEET exam. At first, the original NEET exam, I was scoring well above 600. Okay, and then I found out that it was leaked, and then everything went to hell, and something happened. And then re-NEET happened. Provisional answer key released. My score was coming around 300. At first, with the provisional answer key, it was coming around 292. Okay, I was fine with that. I did not actually prepare that well because of the stress and the pressure. And then the final answer key came and my score went up to 345. And then my result came and then it was suddenly 274. And I was so confused about what happened.
Okay, so Tanvi, how has the system then dealt with this issue? Have you sent your paper for rechecking? क्या हुआ उसमें?
Well, I don't see anything that will help me. At first, they had the question. I don't know what they call it when you can raise objections to question answers and such. I did not see any discrepancy in that, so I did not raise any objections. But then suddenly the result came at like 11 p.m. on 16 July. And I was so shocked about the result because I was expecting 345 or maybe somewhere around that. But it was 274 out of a sudden.
Okay, so Tanvi, where do you then stand today?
definitely want the governmental bodies to be transparent about their processes. They need to be transparent about how they process these things and what is their marking criteria. Like, how do these discrepancies happen?
Okay, so the checking criteria and better functioning as far as discrepancies in marks are concerned. Tanvi, I also want to understand from you, you are now in a position where you'll probably be taking the exam again next year, yes?
Probably, it depends.
Okay, so somewhere you still have that hope, right? You've not completely given up.
I guess I can say that.
Okay, so Tanvi, of course, wishing you all the very best for next year, and hopefully the circumstances will be better next year. But I just want to understand from you, Tanvi, one thing. If you could send a message to the government, you've just spoken about some of the issues, but if you could send a message to the people who are managing the system, what is it that you're expecting now from next year onwards? For if not for yourself, then other NEET aspirants.
I will definitely say to work on your empathy about the students who put their entire life around one exam. Because if these kind of things happen, you don't know how many students bet their entire life on this one singular exam. Because of all this, so many students end up committing suicide, as we all know about the 20 students who did after re-NEET was announced. You don't know how much a single family goes through for that one single exam. So I will definitely tell them, like, increase the way you do your work, increase your empathy, and you know how much youth there is in this country. You need to do better for them because they are the future of this country. When you are gone, it will be us. So please make the system better for us at least, if not for yourself.
Okay, Tanvi, valid point there. I just want to understand from you because you're an interesting case. All the people that I've spoken to so far did clear the examination this year. You've probably worked as hard and you also had your dreams and hopes set on the NEET exam. But now that you are in this position where you're sort of confused whether you want to take it next year or not, what are you thinking about doing in life? And I'm asking you this from a very genuine perspective, Tanvi, because आपके जैसे कई बच्चे हैं, जैसा कि आपने कहा, वो अपनी पूरी लाइफ एक एग्जाम के अराउंड हम बना लेते हैं, बट कभी कभी लाइफ में हम जितना भी प्रिपेयर कर ले वो नहीं वर्कआउट होता. 20 लाख से ऊपर कंपटीशन था आपका और सीट्स बहुत कम थी, तो ज़रूरी तो ये ऑब्वियस बात है कि सब बच्चों का क्लियर नहीं होगा. तो आपका प्लान बी क्या है?
Well, I think that's one good thing about me, that I always have backups for something. But that's not the case for everyone else. They do not have backups. They only revolve around one exam. And as for what I want to do in future, perhaps NEET will work out, perhaps it will not. I do have my backup store for myself. That will work out just fine. I also gave the CUET exam, which worked well out for me. I got 694 out of 1000, and I have secured a DU seat with that. So yeah, one thing I would like to also say to the students who are betting their entire life on this exam is to always have a backup plan, because with all that is happening, you cannot trust the government. There is no transparency, there is no accountability. You cannot trust anything this government does regarding education or anything.
Okay, Tanvi, on that note, one last question to you. What would make you trust the government more?
Like I always said, transparency about how things work. And perhaps they should be answerable to the people, because that is, the backbone of democracy. That you should be answerable to the people and you should listen to them. If they have any questions, you should answer. If they have any problems with any policy or anything that has happened, you should be able to answer. They should not sit there waiting for an answer, getting beaten up on the streets by the authorities. They should be able to receive an answer from you.
Absolutely. Tanvi, thank you so much. I'm with you on that. The government must always be answerable and accountable to the people. That's ultimately what you're there for. I thank on that note for all the students for joining us, those who did clear the exam, those who didn't, but a lot of their spirits remain unbroken, and that's the important part, and that's an important takeaway for me. On that note, a very short break. We come back on the other side with more.